It's a wet Wednesday afternoon in the heart of London's financial district, and preparations are underway for the 17th annual British Oyster Opening Championships.
17 years ago, we staged the first British Oyster Opening Championship, and here we are again today. It's quite an exciting event and a lot of fun.
I've been coming to the Oyster Championship since its inception.
I've probably been coming for about 10 years. I know over the past 4 or 5 I've emceed it. So I stand up there with a microphone and I announce all the competitors and make sure the rules are adhered to. There are surprisingly quite a few rules. The contestants have to count their own oysters to make sure they have to guarantee that they've got 30, that we're given the right number, and they have to shuck them, open them, turn them over.
The competitors present their 30 oysters opened on a round tray, which goes up to 3 judges who are sitting completely out of sight, and they're looking for presentation of the oyster. It mustn't have any shell or grit. It mustn't have any blood from the oyster opener. And we've had, over the years, quite a lot of blood, I'm sorry to say. A lot of blood has been spilt, but hopefully this year there won't be any loss of blood. I am not a very good shucker, I have to confess. I prefer my oysters to be ready for me, whether they're raw on the half shell or... Actually, I quite like cooked oysters because I go to Louisiana frequently because that's where Tabasco is made, and there are so many oyster bars in Louisiana, and they serve them raw and cooked. So I've sort of acquired a taste now for cooked oysters.
A few years ago, I did do a bit of shucking, and apparently I won. I was quite shocked, but it did create a lot of pain because obviously I sort of cut my finger in amongst all that. But you know, there's no pleasure like having a lot of pain while shucking.
I have never had a go at shucking oysters in public, and I wouldn't fancy my chances against these guys at all, so it's not for me. The majority of people who get here competing, oyster shucking is their full-time job. When you come to lunchtime in these restaurants that can seat up to 80 or here seats 150 people, if people want oysters fresh, one person can't get them all out, so you have to work like merry heck, so it's an art. I know all the competitors. You don't mean to say we know what's going to happen.
It's always very difficult to predict. We've got somebody here today who's been the runner-up for 4 years, so he must be in with a good chance of winning.
You know, we've got some new people here today, some outsiders, so it'd be very interesting. If they can take the crown off our regulars, they'll do extremely well. I do have a favourite today, but it would be unfair of me to say anything.
I think sometimes people do run a book, but I prefer not to know about it.
The moment of truth is almost upon us, but there's just time to meet up with last year's winner, Armando Lamar.
I won last year, and it was good. You know, I was getting a bit rusty. I've actually made this knife. This comes from my wife's mop. I'll be honest with you, you still get nervous. You know, I might be all right now, but once you start opening, you know, once the bell goes, your hands start to shake. Oh yeah, definitely.
At last, the time has come to quit the speculation and find out once and for all who will be the British Oyster Opening Champion 2009.
Ready, steady, go!
After a hard-fought battle, Armando Lamar emerged triumphant for the 2nd year running with a stunning time of just 3 minutes and 25 seconds. He will now travel to Galway to compete in the World Championships.
It's a bit tougher down there in Galway. It's really tough. You know, you get the Japanese with huge knives, you get the Swedish. You know, they're all very fast there. I'm the winner!